This is Vanilla SMP. And this guy right here is Pixel King, the owner. Now, I don't really want to talk too bad about this guy because he's probably like a 12-year-old. But this guy is a terrible server moderator. There are so many things he did that just actually sucked. Let me give you some examples. People had to wait until the 30th to be whitelisted into the server, even though they got accepted on like the 27th or the 28th, which is terrible because the server started on the 24th and he was still accepting applications into the SMP. Like, I didn't get accepted into the Discord server until the 28th, and then I didn't even get whitelisted until the 30th. So I was already 6 days late on the SMP. And I mean, I get it. You were away for the weekend. But, like, why would you start an SMP right before you are leaving for the weekend? That is such a bad idea. But enough trash talking the owner. Let's actually talk about the SMP itself. When I first joined the SMP, which might I remind you was 6 days after it started, this is what I saw. And it's Minecraft. Of course you're going to see that. That is a given. But right at spawn, seriously? Putting that aside, we then spent 30 minutes trying to find a spot to build our base. And eventually we came across this cliff hill thing that we decided to start building our base on. I then spent an hour terraforming and building a base while Luke did actually important things. Until he found a trial chamber. And we spent a while raiding this place and getting a bunch of stuff, thinking that we could get the mace head. But instead, we just lost all of our stuff. So we were pretty vulnerable at this point. We lost all of our diamond armor. I was eating rotten flesh. We were in a pretty tight spot. And then I had to leave. For like, at most, 40 minutes. And when I came back, yeah, our base was getting raided. So I ran. I just bolted out of there and let them raid the place. But I eventually found a nice village far enough away to where they wouldn't find us again. And I started to call it home. And of course I had to bring Luke over here. You know, I didn't just completely abandon him. And we spent the rest of our time on this server here. After I logged off, Luke started grinding some more. Well, actually, he raided other people's bases that he found using hacks. Both of my teammates were hacking, actually. But, you know, they had a good reason for it. The owner was abusing his power very clearly. There is evidence that is possibly his base that has many items that were probably gotten in either creative mode or duped, and I'm like 80% sure that this was at his base. I mean, if the owner's not gonna follow the rules, then why should we? Of course, I never hacked. I am a good citizen. I would never do that. But he did get me a lot of good stuff. And of course, the next day was the end fight. Because why should I be allowed to get prep time? And obviously, it did not go very well for me. I mean, obviously it didn't. I literally got 1 day to play before he decided it was time for the end fight. So yeah, I was pissed. Basically what happened was this team basically just killed everybody until people got tired of respawning and going back to get their stuff. And just waited until they were the only ones in the end so that they could actually beat the Ender Dragon without anyone else having a chance to get the egg. So yeah, that was really annoying, and I absolutely hated this SMP. Which is why, right after this end fight, I stopped playing and started editing this video. And you know what's funny? The server actually ended yesterday, as of me recording this specific recording. So, yeah, it was poorly run, the owner was abusing his admin powers, and all in all, I think I could do a way better job than him. I mean, obviously I can do a better job than a 12-year-old running a Minecraft server, that's a given, but if you can't do well running a Minecraft server and you're gonna complain that everybody's hacking and not following rules, maybe you shouldn't start a Minecraft server. Also, before the video ends, I got some really good roasts in on him before I left the server. Okay, if you liked the video, press like, subscribe, turn on notifications so you can catch my next rant about a terrible SMP owner. And goodbye!